Okay, I think we are live. So, thank you for having me here.
No problem.
Thank you. So, hello everyone. Good afternoon. It's just noon. 26 minutes, little bit after noon. This is Katz from YokodoNews, and I don't see my face on the camera, so I kind of have to pun up a little bit. And it's a little bit dark, so I kind of have to.
Do you want me to close the?
No. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. But
yeah, I bet that's better.
I like backlight exposure. Look like a Hollywood lighting.
Right? Yes.
But hi everyone. Good afternoon. This is Kat from YokodoNews. Yeah, I don't really see my face well, but it's okay. It's as long as you can hear me. So we are live from Musashino, Tokyo, Japan. It is March 6th, Sunday afternoon here in Tokyo. YokodoNews Weekly number 15's Shukan YokodoNews. YokodoNews is the website to talk about Japan in English so that you can understand Japan more. And I happen to know Joanne and Rich, who lives in Tokyo. She responded my Twitter, I think, right? And she say yes to incorporate it with YokodoNews. So, all right, cool. Thank you, Joanne.
Sure.
Yeah.
No problem. Happy to.
Today I happen to be in Tokyo this weekend, so I called Joanne. Joanne, hey, would you like to? Can I meet you? And can I talk about YokodoNews? And hey, I have equipment. Can I do a live cast? So that's why we are here. So thank you very much. Would you? So I wanted to interview Joanne and Rich because you guys living in Japan for 2-3 years now. So as a work. So I'm sure, and you don't live in Tokyo. You live 30 minutes away from Tokyo, which is pretty it's not Inaka, but it's kind of Inaka enough. After the live cast today, I'm going to visit her farm. I heard that they have a farm. And what kind of vegetable you guys grow there?
Well, on the farm we grow, the winter crops are mostly done, but usually it's, for spring we'll be planting cabbage, broccoli, lettuce, things like that. So mostly greens right now, things that are happy in cool weather.
But I'd say a lot of traditional or regular Japanese vegetables, daikon, kamatsuna. You know, so it's. Would you agree?
Yeah, lots of winter greens. The winter season is more interesting, I think.
I see. So let me ask you. Would you first of all would you guys introduce yourself? First of all, Rich.
Okay. Hello, my name is Rich Bailey. I'm originally from Ohio, the state of Ohio, which I think is wonderful in Japan because obviously Ohio means good morning. I'm an English teacher by profession, and that's what brings us to Tokyo. I teach at Asia University. It's a very interesting job. It's a good opportunity to live and work in Japan, and it's been very. It's been a very wonderful experience.
Good idea.
In that to be honest, we just came to Japan for the job. We didn't know very much about Japan. We only really knew stereotypes. And now that we've been here for over almost 2 years, we've discovered that Japan is an amazing country, and it's been a wonderful experience, and we've had 2 wonderful years, and I'd say we're looking forward to at least another wonderful year, hopefully better as our Japanese gets better and as we learn more about Japan. So
yeah, so YokodoNews is the social media that anybody can join, and then I'm hoping to use YokodoNews so that you can report. You have a reason to visit. You have reason to go around. So, but first of all, I'd like to hear how it has been living in Japan so far. So, what kind of job do you do, Rich?
well, I teach English at Asia University,
Okay.
Mostly to first-year students. We have a program where many of our students go to America for an exchange program. So there's a lot of focus on getting the students ready
Yep.
for that. Plus, I teach business English classes, communication classes. It's probably very typical, different types of English to different students, and it's a good job. It's a nice work environment, and the university is very helpful. It's definitely a good job. One of my best jobs.
So, yeah, Tam, how was the first month or
Oh, when we first
so like
came to
when you
Japan?
first came to Japan? Yeah. So,
Joan?
The first month, actually, it was good. Everything was, and it still feels this way. Everything was really interesting. We wanted to see everything, eat everything, sort of. Yeah, just we spent a lot of time biking and walking around our neighborhood, being outside, just sort of looking around and seeing what life was like.
Because it was different, because we had come from Inaka, America. We had lived very much in the countryside.
Right.
And so for us, this is the big city, even though it's not Shinjuku. But it's, so it was very exciting to walk everywhere, because in America we drove everywhere because everything was so far apart.
I see.
But I'd say the first month was it was a little crazy. We didn't know very much Japanese. We couldn't read any signs, so we never knew, is it a bank? Is it a supermarket? Is it a
Right.
So the first month was a lot of learning how to survive, which I think is very typical for most people when you move to a country where you don't know the language and you don't know the culture. So the first month is pretty much survival, but it was very exciting. And
Okay.
yeah.
So, Joanne, what do you do in Japan?
What I do is I work at a local organic farm here in Musashi Sakai, and I also write and I teach a little bit on the side.
Okay. Okay. Oh, so what were you doing before, and what was the occasion to come to Japan?
Well, before we came to Japan, I worked for a small nonprofit as their community relations coordinator, which meant I sort of did a pretty wide variety of things, everything from event organizing to managing volunteers, some grant writing and fundraising, and then whatever else needed to be done. And it was great. I loved it. But when Richard got the job offer to come to Japan, we decided we would do it, because it was the sort of thing that, it comes along once in a lifetime, and if we didn't do it, we thought we'd always regret it. So an old friend of his worked at the same university and told us that positions were open. Richard applied, and they accepted him. So here we are.
Yeah, it was a bit of a
whirlwind,
unknown experiment. We didn't know anything about Japan, and we had a house, we had a car, 2 cats, 3 chickens, and we had to leave it all behind to come to Japan, and we didn't know what we were going to.
Yeah.
So it was, while it was exciting, it was also very scary to leave everything.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I see. So, so how was let's go to the question of Temtang. How did the native Japanese treat you? Was it more discrimination or curiosity? How did you have something?
Well, I think I think in Japan,
Excuse me.
for many historical reasons, I'm sure everyone is aware of us. Like when we're on the train or in the supermarket, I'm sure the people notice us because there's not many foreigners in our neighborhood, but they don't make a very obvious indication that they're watching us or anything. So sometimes we almost feel invisible because we don't notice that anyone's noticing us.
Right.
So in some ways, it's sort of a strange experience because sometimes we have been to other countries. We lived in Kazakhstan for 2 years, and I lived in Fiji, and we've traveled to other countries. And oftentimes, as a foreigner or as an American, people will come up to you and say, "Oh, you're an American," or they react to you. And in Japan, there's almost no reaction. And I think there's many cultural and historical reasons for that. And it's both good and bad, because sometimes you can feel that the Japanese are not friendly or not interested, but I think they are. They just don't express that to foreigners. The Japanese culture, I think you were saying, is more. What were you were talking about?
Like Japanese people think that being quiet is beauty, like virtue, or
yeah, so I think
Japanese virtue is the being quiet.
They don't necessarily reach out to strangers and such. But we have, in our 2 years here, we have met some very friendly. Well, actually, almost everyone we've met in Japan has been friendly.
Yeah.
Once you get to know them, and once we speak some Japanese to them, and they realize that we're able to communicate, then people relax and they're quite friendly.
Hey, Joanne, do you know Naoko Sakai?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, cool.
No, cool.
No,
She said she knows
is this
Joanne.
It might be now.
No, yeah.
Was it now?
Yeah.
Now from
Yeah.
Well, we know a now. It might be her.
Well, actually, I know a few nows.
Oh, okay.
I can think of 3 that I know offhand.
Okay.
All of whom I like a great deal.
Okay.
Well, I'll show her picture because I know now too, which I'm going to meet.
It's exciting.
This is.
Who is the now?
Her? No?
Leaning into the camera.
No, her?
Oh, we have a where?
I'm trying to
Oh
think.
no, this is the embarrassing thing.
Okay, it's
Yes.
okay. No,
You
it's
meet
okay.
someone and you're like,
From
oh.
Greens.
From Greens! Oh, it's now! Yes, I know her.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's... Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what? I met Now in San Diego.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So random. At the coffee shop.
Oh, okay.
And I was promoting my independent feature film. And I was sending the MySpace request to promote my indie films. I have to say it was kind of spamming. But then I was working at the coffee shop before the film festival to screen my film, and she approached me. Oh, are you the guy from movie that I received the MySpace request? Sure.
Nice.
That's how I met her.
Oh, very cool.
And she lives in Tokyo now, and I'm probably going to meet her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
this
really cool.
evening.
Oh, how nice.
How'd you know her?
She also writes for Greens.
Oh, okay.
Or she did.
Oh, okay. Oh, Greens. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, cool. Cool, guys. Well, it's such a small world.
Indeed.
Huh?
Yeah. Definitely.
Do you have is there a Japanese phrase for that? Like it's a small world?
Oh, yeah.
Or the same idea?
Small words.
I mean, English
yeah.
would say it's a small world.
Yeah, it's
Right.
a small world. Yeah.
Is there a Japanese?
I think there are, but I'm speaking English right now, so my
You
brain
can't-
kind of switched
No problem.
Right, right,
to
right.
English, so it's kind of hard to. Oh, it's such a cool. So she actually joined the YokodoNews too,
Oh, excellent.
and she last 2 weeks ago we did the international marriage because now called married to American guys.
Right, right,
we
right.
did talk about like how was it? So
Oh, how
cool. It's a
cool.
small world. Temtang, what was the strangest thing that you've seen, experienced since your first arrival in Japan?
The strangest thing. That's a great question. The strangest thing.
Wow. Well, like
Trouble is, it's all normal now.
at first,
Yeah, everything's normal.
first,
So
everything was strange.
yeah,
And the food, the trains,
right.
the language, the fashion.
The strangest.
But now
thing.
that we've been here for 2 years, nothing seems strange, and so
Right.
it's hard to remember what was strange. I think the strangest thing, in some ways, was the kanji, the written language, and it was so unusual to be in a country where you couldn't read anything, because with English and Spanish and French and Russian and German, there's enough similarities that you can usually understand a little bit of what you're seeing. And in Japan, it was, because of the kanji, it was so alien, so unusual that it was yeah. So maybe that was the strangest thing.
Well, actually, I would say that one of the strangest things, I remember one of the first times we ever went out for ramen, we were with a Japanese woman, and she ordered ramen, and there was like this white, she said, I can't remember, she said, oh, it's like a potato, it's white, and it's kind of gooey. She said, I really like it, but not everyone does. And it was satoimo?
Satoimo?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I had no idea such a thing existed. And I remember thinking, all right. But now I have to say, I like it.
Right.
But that was sort of,
Natto is very weird.
yeah, like the gooey food texture in Japan takes a bit of getting used to. But actually, I really enjoy it now.
Oh, really? Do you guys like natto?
Yeah, it took us a while.
What? You guys like natto?
Yeah, it's really tasty.
Well, I like natto. I used to hate natto before I left for US, but now I kind of start liking it too. But how did you end up liking natto?
Well, I think what it was is, people always talk to us about natto, and it's really important to Japanese culture. And then for some reason, we just kept trying it. We thought, oh, well, because it kind of looks good, so you think, oh, well, I'll try that. And then next thing you know...
I think we just got used to it eventually. Like, I didn't like coffee when I was younger.
That's right.
And now I like coffee.
That's right.
I didn't like beer when I was younger. Now I like
Right.
beer. So, I think with enough practice, you can
Yeah.
get used to it.
So you kind of have to be patient for first
Yeah.
couple months, and you like it eventually, I think.
Yeah, you start to appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's healthy too.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So what advice would you give to those who plan to move and live in Japan in the future? Well, a lot.
Yeah.
We have a lot, but one point that you can come across right now. What's that, Rich?
It's, in my opinion, the most important, but it's also probably the hardest.
Right.
And it's language.
Yeah.
It's learning to speak and listen and read Japanese, which is very easy to say, but it's extremely difficult to do.
Right.
Because not being able to communicate and not being able to read really it stops you from being able to learn about Japan. You go to the supermarket and you pick up something, and I don't know what
Yeah,
this
you have
is.
no
It could
idea. Right.
it could be anything, and you feel like there's this big barrier between you and Japan, and it's really, really frustrating.
Yeah.
But you somehow how much can you speak your Japanese, Rich?
I would say that, we're able to communicate. I'm able to have a conversation, and I need to negotiate meaning. And I mean, and my Japanese is probably, very formal, because most of the books that you study have formal Japanese. And of course, in regular Japanese, there's lots of slang and casual. But it's really, because I teach language, and it's really a function of how much time you give to it.
Right.
And people think, oh yeah, I'll study a little Japanese before I go. But you have to study. I mean, if you want to learn any language, you have to spend hours and hours every day. And people don't want to hear that because it's very difficult to do.
Right.
Well, if you don't want to study hard and hard, you just come here and just be surrounded by a environment, I think. And one of the advice that I could give is to watch Japanese TV all the time, or even don't watch Japanese TV. You don't have to watch Japanese TV, but just keep turning on the Japanese TV so that you will unconsciously you keep hearing Japanese. So that could be one of my advice.
Right, and I would agree. I mean, and I think that's sort of related to the whole idea that you need to surround yourself with the Japanese language, like listen to Japanese J-pop, to Japanese pop music, watch television.
Go karaoke.
We watch Japanese movies with English subtitles to hear the sound of the Japanese. So you really need sort of all of that. But again, as a language teacher, it's really important. Like, you have to learn a lot of the basics, whether it's grammar or words, because you need to have those so that you can build and make new sentences and new ideas. So it really takes a bit of everything.
Right.
But you kind of you started sounding like a college professor, but this is not college though. Can you give me some more advice that you do besides learning?
You mean for Japanese or for
for people who want to live in Japan?
Oh, I see. Sorry.
I mean, no. Like, no. You said you are doing something, try to go somewhere occasionally, right?
Oh yeah, I go to a local bar every Monday night, and I make some friends, and I try to communicate, and that's a good opportunity to make friends. Because as we were saying, sometimes it's difficult to make friends, and usually in a bar, everyone's relaxed. They've had a few drinks. Jones had success
at the farm. Yeah, the farmers speak some English, and I speak a little Japanese, and so between us, we're able to kind of sort it out. So I guess my advice actually would be to study the language, but also to go out into Japan. Like, go perhaps where you're interested, but maybe not where you're so comfortable. So don't always be with other foreigners, but go out and try to reach out to people. Because what we often find is that even though we're stumbling through sentences, or, we're trying to do something, Japanese people invariably have reached out to us to either help us find our way when we're lost, or, to talk to us about whatever it is that we're trying to do. Or, it's just, that has been amazing. And I think if you go out into the country, or out into the, out into the community, I think they'll engage with you if you give them the least bit of encouragement.
But it can be difficult. It can be scary. When the first night that I went to the bar to try this technique, it was so scary.
Yeah.
It's a little izakaya around the corner, a Japanese bar. And I went there, and I stood outside the bar, and I could see in all these people, and I sat there, I stood there, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. I was so scared because I didn't speak enough Japanese, and I said, okay, and I opened the door, and I went in, and they were surprised to see me, but they were very friendly. And then I sat down, and the man next to me, we started talking. He bought me a drink. Now he's a very good friend.
Yeah, he's great.
But it was hard because you have to make the effort in Japan to meet people and to meet groups. It's not as easy. You know, they don't necessarily reach out to you. So you sort of have to be more aggressive.
Yeah, because I completely agree with you, because when I first moved to the US, there, like in LA, there were so many Japanese students or Japanese people working in LA already. But many of Japanese don't go out. They just kind of close themselves within the Japanese community, and they never, then because they have a job, like they just work at the Japanese restaurant or they work with Japanese company, so they didn't have to, had to use some English, but at home they didn't have to speak any English because they live with Japanese and everything. So they never take the opportunity to learn any English. So some people who even live in the US for 10 years, 20 years, they cannot speak English at all. So same thing with in Japan as well. Some people live in Japan for 20, 30 years and they only can speak a little Japanese.
2 beers.
Right. Yeah.
Where's the bathroom?
That's right.
But I also understand why that happens, because many people come to Japan and they're very ambitious to learn Japanese, but it's so difficult that I think many people, they give up. They're like, I can't do this. It's too hard. And they realize that especially in Tokyo, you don't have to learn Japanese. And so many people just say, okay, and they just learn a little Japanese, and then they live in an English bubble. And unfortunately, you miss out on a lot of what Japan has to offer if you just stay inside that bubble.
Right.
But I understand why it happens.
Me too. And I don't blame Japanese people who live in the US who cannot speak English either, because of
because I do it in Japan, so they can do it in America.
Right.
So it's not, you know, because America, many times we think, oh, you should learn English. Why don't you learn English? I'm like, well, it's difficult. And, you know, and that person's not a bad person if they don't learn English. I mean, some people don't learn Japanese in Japan. Doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means that they didn't.
Right.
So,
yeah. Well, so what is your favorite thing about Japanese culture? For example, tea ceremonies, wedding, and etc. What? Culture.
Food. Yeah.
The food.
Yeah.
The food is, but I think maybe the one thing that, as an American, we have a very young country, and I think living in a country that is thousands of years old, there's so much of Japan, to me, has that influence, that things are, you know, the food, the clothes, the buildings, the music, you know, it's something that's grown and developed for thousands of years, and I love sort of the history of Japan, or the ancient culture, because I mean, you're wearing sort of like a traditional Japanese style, right? And some countries, they get rid of the old stuff. They only want the new stuff. And I think Japan has found a good balance of keeping the old, but also celebrating the new. Or I mean, some people would think maybe yes, maybe no. But compared to other countries, in a way, I feel like Japan's done a pretty good job on holding on to your history. And
we are still being criticized. We are still losing so much craftsmanship over stuff. But okay, if you think so, yeah, I think we are.
Well, I mean, compared to America, but then again, also America's only 200 or so years old.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot of history to hold on to.
Yeah.
So Joe, you said food?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated by the food. I mean, I like to eat, and it's always intriguing to me how in Japanese culture, like every travel poster that you see is, it'll show you a beautiful scene, but there's always a picture of food as well that's present.
Yeah.
And, different foods for different times of, the different times of year,
Yeah.
different foods for different celebrations.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fascinating when you talk to people about, family recipes or ways that they do things that they grow. I recently learned in a presentation that Japan has over 1,000 different varieties of named and unnamed varieties of soybeans. I mean, that's amazing, and sort of, I just think food is fascinating.
Yeah, we've been learning a lot about Japanese food and how to make Japanese food from, nabe and kitsune udon, and Joan's been making umeshu and umeboshi and what are the pickles? Tsukemen? No. Tsukemono. She's been learning how to make Japanese pickles, and that's been a lot of fun. We've received a lot of interesting things.
Sure. Go ahead.
Like what, Joan? What were
Oh, Richard. Sorry.
What are these?
I don't remember what they're called. You'd have to find the letter that was affiliated with this. But they're a kind of bean. In English, we'd say that they're a broad bean.
So anyways, I'm sorry. I thought that was an interesting Japanese bean.
It is an interesting Japanese bean.
If you can see, they're a really large, sort of purple and white bean that we, when we were in Osaka in January.
Really? I never seen this myself either.
Yeah.
They were cooked and sort of sweet.
Yeah, they're usually cooked and they're sweet. Yeah, I'd have to find Haruna's letter that has the recipe.
Was it the little one that had the little stationary edges around it?
Could be.
It's in recycling.
Oh, well, we should get that out
We'll get
then.
that out of recycling. I thought it was recycling.
Yes, well, no worries.
I'm trying to clean the house.
Yes, well, now you apparently have a large mess over there to clean up.
Yes.
Yes. Ima, sodane.
House husband.
Yeah, house husband. Yeah.
Ima. Sodane.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
That's a good question.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
We've lived in other countries. We might stay in Japan. We might go back to America. Of course, our families want us to go back to Japan. My mother is probably watching right now.
That's right.
Yes, you should come back to Japan. Back to America.
Back to America. Yeah.
I don't know. It's
a good question.
I didn't know I was coming to Japan, so I don't know where I'm going next.
Okay. So it's been, how long have you been in Japan now?
2 years.
2 years.
Yep.
So this is your third year. So what was, like, once you get used to it, what were you like in terms of living? How's the lifestyle? It's like when you what's your weekly schedule is like? Like you work and where do you do, like, so you work most of weekdays and
Monday to Friday.
Yeah, weekend. What do you do on the weekends?
Sometimes we go hiking out by Takao-san in the mountains just west of here. Oh, they're not really mountains; they're big hills.
Yeah.
We do hiking. We do bike trips.
Farm projects.
We work on Joan's farm.
Actually, it's not my farm.
Well, Joan has a garden, which is part of a larger farm.
Yeah.
So sometimes we help on the farm. Sometimes we work on Joan's garden. Sometimes
we help with farm projects, like preparing a field.
Joan likes to go when she learns about interesting things, like farmers markets, or maybe like an environmental event in Tokyo. We'll go into Tokyo and do some exploring. Sometimes we just walk.
Yeah.
Like Christmas.
Urban hiking.
Christmas Eve, we walked from Shinjuku to Shibuya.
Actually, Shinagawa, close to just past Shinagawa.
Just to go for a walk.
Okay.
Because that's a really nice way to see Tokyo.
Yeah.
Is
More
just
intimate view.
Start walking.
Yeah. I one day I also walk in downtown LA, like at night, like 12. It was gorgeous to see. Usually you take a train, you drive a car, and everything passes by so quick. But once you start walking, even your neighborhood, it doesn't have to be actually in Tokyo or Japan. Actually, if you start walking in your neighborhood, you actually have something. Especially after you grow up, everything start moving so quickly. But just take a break and walk around. I mean, yeah, that's the best. One of the best kept secret tips to discover Japan, because you might find a small restaurant or small bar or small like a snack shop and
Or a temple.
Yeah.
But there's a little restaurant around the corner here, and we've been here almost 2 years, and I have walked past that area hundreds of times, and I had never seen the restaurant. And then one day I looked up and there's a sign. I said, "What is this?" And I opened the door, and it was a ramen shop, and I had no idea. It's like 100 yards from here, and I had no idea it was there. I never saw it.
Yeah.
okay.
Because usually on a bicycle, zoom, you go right past it. But walking really gives you a chance to see and smell and hear things.
Tim, where are you located at? Yeah, you asked the best questions. Yeah, he said I asked the best questions.
You do. Those are excellent questions.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Where's he writing from? Does it say?
No, I don't know. I have to check. I just asked him where you are from.
Oh, okay.
But so you've been growing the bit. So you've been biking? You guys have been biking in Japan?
Well, mostly Mama Charlie.
Yeah, not touring necessarily.
We ride around our area.
Oh,
We
that's
ride
too
bikes
cool.
in Tokyo.
Yeah.
There's a company in downtown Tokyo where you can rent bicycles for 1,000 yen a day down in Meguro.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we go down there and rent bikes, and then we ride around all over Tokyo. And on bicycles, you can cover a lot more distance. 'Cause sometimes walking for 5 or 6 hours can be very tiring.
Yeah.
But on bicycles, you can go here and go there. So sometimes walking is good, sometimes biking is good.
Yeah. I love biking too. I mean, I was surprised that in the U.S. as well, more people start riding the bicycle. But at first, it was just about economy. They wanted to try to save the gas. But you're Michael. Okay, cool. He's from LA.
Oh, okay.
So I don't recognize your Twitter account. Yeah, sure. Mike, what's up? So what was I asking?
Biking in Japan?
Yeah, biking in Japan. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
We'd like to do more bicycle exploring. We're considering buying folding bicycles.
Yeah,
And then using those when we travel to be able to explore, because the trains are good to travel in Japan, but they don't go everywhere. And then if you don't have a car, you can't go explore in the other areas.
Yeah.
We'd like to look at that as a possibility.
I see.
A nice way to travel.
Cool. Mike is from LA, so watching it live right now. I was talking about in LA bicycle too. More people riding the bicycle, and they start enjoying riding the bicycle. At first, it was just saving money, but once it's a entire culture, like tuning up your bicycle and everything. So I see the more growth in LA as well. But anyway, so Joanne, how's your farming?
Farming is very good. Basically, I go to the farm every day during the week. So Richard goes to the university, I go to the farm. And depending on what's happening, I'll spend the whole morning there doing projects, either planting or harvesting or just preparing fields for planting and getting things ready to be shipped to the buyers. Or I go back in the afternoon and I'll do some maintenance work at the farm. And then I also write and things like that. But
cool.
Farm is good. Farm is very good.
It's cool. So what's the difference? Were you farming back in the U.S. or?
In America, just before we left, I left my job at the nonprofit a little bit early, and I worked at a friend's organic farm near our house. So yeah, so I did some farming before we left.
What was the difference between the farm in the U.S. and Japan?
I think some of the biggest differences would be that this farm, of course, is much more urban. The farm that I worked at was way out in the country. And so there's not quite as much room to work with. And so in Japan, what happens is, once you harvest and finish a crop, a new crop has to come in. And so you have to sort of time everything in terms of your seeds and field preparation as well as harvest. Like, you're always thinking sort of on this big scale, because here in Tokyo, we farm year-round. So we have winter crops, spring crops, summer crops, and fall crops. And it rotates around the farm quite regularly in terms of where it's planted and how we prepare.
Yeah, because we believe that, by keep growing, we can grow the soil, the nutrition of the soil inside of the soil.
Right,
so yeah, that's why we also want to be productive.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Yeah, it's most impressive, actually. I've learned a lot.
I think because there's less space in Japan, so you have to be more efficient with the space that you have.
But because of that, we had to keep growing. But because we keep growing it, then we have better nutrition inside of the cell. So I thought that Japanese vegetable are more tasty.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I think it probably depends. I mean, my personal belief is that, it probably depends on the variety that you choose of the vegetable, and and some years are better than other years as well.
Yeah, of course,
growing.
Of course.
But yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I think one thing, in America, the organic farms or organic food sometimes has a stereotype of hippies, you might say, like alternative lifestyle. And sometimes in America people have a negative reaction towards organic vegetables or organic farms. Not everyone, but I think sometimes they do.
Yeah.
And I don't know enough about Japanese culture or about Japan to know if there's sort of the same connection between, I guess you might say, Japanese hippies and organic farming. I don't know if it's like...
Not much. No, organic is organic, actually.
Yeah, I think it's either probably more of like a health choice or even maybe like an economic choice, because they realize that they can sell organic vegetables for more money. Because I think organic food in America, or the term organic, has a lot more cultural, we would say, baggage, cultural stereotypes to it in America.
Little, it's not political, but
a little bit,
kind of is, yeah. Like if you were to say, "Oh, I work on an organic farm," some people would say, "Oh, you're a liberal," or you're a so there's associations with organic food, and I don't know that Japan has the same associations.
No. I mean, there are some Japanese hippie talks about the environment and everything, and they do love organic food, but we don't have any, in general, we don't have any association with it. So people who love organic, it's just organic, and people who don't buy organic, they just want to save money.
Yeah.
healthy, being healthy or being organic. So yeah. Next thing is that you live in a gorgeous apartment.
Oh, this is nice.
Thank you.
We're very lucky with this apartment.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna. Can I keep panning the camera?
Sure.
To show. I wanna. So, can you explain to me how you get this this is the kind of house, right? I mean,
well, the university, the university rents the building, and that's part of the job. They provide housing to all the teachers.
No, it's okay.
Which is a very nice benefit of the job.
Sure.
Yeah, you have nice shelf, right there. With all kinds of.
We like to collect sort of the beautiful
or interesting
Japanese things. Probably like a lot of foreigners do.
Yeah.
You collect a lot of the same.
Souvenirs.
The same things. I really like those little horses.
Yeah.
We found those on the beach down in the Miura Peninsula south of Tokyo, I think.
And then the sea ball.
They related to Obon? Something about like for your ancestors or?
Yeah. I actually, you know what? I don't know because I'm not from that region.
Oh,
so you kind of have to tell me where you got it, and I have to do research because Japanese culture has such a different variety of it.
Yeah.
So. But so then actually behind it, can you go like how you work to your office? And what's that room?
Well, this is the bedroom, but it's also the office. I mean, it's where we have a desk here, so you can open the computer and work. And it's just nice because you don't have to use the living room as your workspace.
Right.
Yeah.
You can have a little privacy in here, or
I mean, I don't know privacy, but it has a kind of great divider in between. I know.
Yeah, it definitely separates sort of your relaxing space and a working space, because you can even you can close the door obviously,
right,
and get a little privacy. Because Joan writes at home when I'm at school.
Right.
And,
so you work there too? Okay.
Yeah, that's my main spot. Actually, that's my spot. When Richard's not home and taking it over, it's my spot.
Cool. Joanne is not be able to move a little bit today, so she's sitting there all the time. So sorry for the awkwardness, but you have a great kitchen. Can I?
Yeah.
You guys don't mind? I film kitchen, right?
Yeah, please do.
So yeah, I know. So I can't move so much, but so this is one room, like one LDK, living room, dining room, and kitchen. Apartment, and you guys have the nice picture around it.
Oh yeah. Our friend Ryan Libre, he's a professional photographer.
Yeah.
We are very lucky.
Yeah, nice decoration.
He had he was doing he entered in a he was chosen to be in a photo show by Nikon.
Yeah, at the Nikon salon.
The Nikon salon in Japan.
I see.
But not for these photos, for some other photos.
Yeah.
Right.
And when he came to visit us, he had to change the photos on the display boards, and he was going to throw all these away because these were from his old show.
Right.
And we said, no, please, give us the photos. So he just pulled them right off the board.
Right.
And
then we just hung them up and randomly, and we really like them.
One of our favorites is the one here with the cans.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's whoops.
We first thought that wouldn't be that interesting, but it's every time we look at that photo, it's like we can see something different in the photo. So, not quite what we expected.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to hold the party here?
As far as we know, since we've had several.
We've had it.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be quiet at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's
Yeah.
other people that live in the
Yeah,
building.
of course.
But sometimes we might be a little longer than 10
Yes,
o'clock.
we try not to.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
try
yeah.
to be good neighbors.
But this is I have to tell you, this is the great spot to do party.
Oh, we've
Oh,
had,
yeah.
House party.
We've had Thanksgiving parties here and
Christmas parties, and then just parties.
regular parties.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is nice. Would you come back, because I'm kind of come back to that sofa?
Oh, yeah,
Richard?
sure.
So it's nice, but I wanna.
Your arm's getting tired.
No, because I want you to be in the camera bigger.
Gotcha,
So,
gotcha.
but yeah, it's great. You have a tatami. So you sleep on the tatami
On futons.
Yeah.
on futon. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you like it?
We love it.
It's very comfortable.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't like tatami. I still don't like tatami.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Because it kind of makes me have a backache.
Oh.
Oh, so you like a big mattress?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we should clarify. We sleep on multiple futons, so we're not just on a single
okay.
futon.
It's not very hard.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. And also, maybe because of my pillow wasn't really well, so that my neck well, anyway. So okay, cool. But you have a nice tatami. How'd you? So you had a little bit interesting story when you moved in here.
Oh, that everything was, we
Yeah.
arranged to have everything here?
Oh, right,
Right,
right.
We were fortunate enough to contact the teacher that lived here before us. And so he and his wife, we ourselves were moving out of our house in Michigan, and we knew how stressful that was. And so when we were able to get in touch with him through another mutual friend, we just said, you know what, if you just leave everything in the apartment, that's fine.
Yeah.
And we'll take it. And so they said, okay. And so when we moved in our first night, I mean, there were spices on the spice rack.
Books on the shelf.
Yep, everything. I mean, it was
Yeah.
just
Furniture. Yeah.
a few. Yep.
We joked that it was like aliens had come
and taken them away.
abducted the people, and we just stepped into their
Yep.
lives,
Yeah.
and we became Joe and Takako. That
That's
was
right.
the people
That's right.
beforehand.
Yeah.
But it made life a lot easier because we didn't have to go shopping, and it made it easier for them because obviously you have to throw everything away or
Oh, yeah.
recycle it, and that's in Japan. It can be
Challenging.
difficult. in some
So
ways.
so you were saying that this desk system behind the sofa was already here.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are kind of enjoying the Japanese not typical. Yeah, it's actually typical. Actually, you know why I'm saying it? This is kind of typical image of college professor.
Oh.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
Japanese college professor. Like you set up the desk facing to the other room of the window or facing to the window and work there.
Yeah.
That actually this is the when I see it I was so happy to see it because it's
Very
typical typical college professors, and it's on tatami too. I mean, it's typical college professors apartment,
That's funny.
studio kind of style. So it's what do you think about pop culture side of Japan?
Pop culture.
Like, do you go to Akihabara? Do you go to have you,
Harajuku.
have you ever?
We've been
Not
there.
much, yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't actively. I mean, I don't participate in it.
Yeah, we don't.
It's interesting to see, and in some ways, I mean, America has its own pop culture that's also weird and unusual. And the Japanese, whether it's like the cosplay down by Harajuku or the maid cafes. I mean, those things exist, but they're also not. I don't know that they're representative of Japan.
Yeah.
They're part of Japan, but they're sort of the part of Japan that the media focuses on.
Right.
So that sort of becomes the stereotype of Japan. And sure, there's a lot of pop culture here, but there's not a lot of, I wouldn't say there's a lot of pop culture in daily life.
Right.
And people here are regular people. They work, they go shopping, they play sports, and so the pop culture is interesting, and it's sometimes very different than American pop culture, but I don't know. It's
But what do
We
you
don't really
think?
know
What do you
much about
think
it.
about? What do you think about those anime culture? When you first saw, you went to Akihabara, right? You saw those cosplay made costume people
Right.
handing out the flyer,
Right.
and then there are some Japanese people who lived in those world like 24/7 all the
Right.
time. So what do you think about those anime otaku pop culture, first of all?
Well, I think it's quite interesting in a way, and it's sort of nice that Japan as a culture provides the opportunity, or it allows the opportunity for people to explore that and participate in that. Because sometimes in America, you know, everyone's so worried about being cool, and cool is often this sort of general MTV media controlled image. And I feel in Japan that if you want to be different or participate in something different in pop culture, there's different things, it's okay in Japan to do that. If you want to do cosplay, go ahead. If you want to read anime comic books all the time, go ahead. And it's sort of accepted in some ways. So it's nice that Japan allows so much pop culture to flourish and to be explored, because you feel like there's not that many restrictions. It's like if you want to be weird, go ahead. You can
Right.
be weird, and there's usually enough people who are also being weird that you come together and make a community, or businesses grow up around that weirdness. Sometimes in America, I think, you know, we have many weird people, but it's a very sort of individual weirdness. And in Japan, it seems that a lot of the weirdness is not individual. They are individuals, but they come together and
As a group,
do that weird thing.
Yeah.
And because there's so many of them, it's not that weird anymore, because they're all doing it together.
And yeah, that's so that is the subculture, I think. Then that's becoming a subculture, I think. So, and then it's great to. I mean, I don't like the word weird, but you know, I it's more like a characteristic or uniqueness in the culture itself. So, but yeah, we still think that's weird.
That's true. I mean, yeah,
It's
weird can just mean unusual or strange.
Yeah.
But
But so how about fashion?
Fashion is very interesting.
It's interesting.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, you know, we've never lived in New York City, and I suspect that New York City is a very fashionable city.
Yeah.
So I imagine that in some ways, you know, Tokyo is a very fashionable city. The people in general, they dress more fashionably. So like, you know, when people go into the city for work, etc. But Japan, like the youth fashion, is obviously different. You know, America, it's a lot of baggy jeans and big sweatshirts and baseball hats backwards or sideways. You know, it's almost sort of like a hip hop or a rap fashion. And Japan has some of that, but
Some people love being dressing like that, like that. So
Yeah.
But Japanese youth culture, or what do you want to call it? In some ways, to me, it looks a lot of like fashion from the 80s, the 1980s in America. There's similar styles and similar clothes. It could just be that that older fashion is coming back.
It is actually
I
right
think
now.
so,
Yeah, right
A
now.
retro
yeah,
way.
it's the retro styles kind of start happening like a couple years ago, but it is. But more. You're talking about more colorful.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying more. It's the Japanese teen fashion is more colorful.
Mm-hmm.
I say so, and it's more
Layer.
well, and it's more like a lot of American fashion or culture fashion is they try to create the image that they don't care. It's like, I'm just wearing big baggy pants, I'm just wearing a big baggy t-shirt, and it almost looks like they don't care what they're wearing. They do, but Japanese fashion, like, you feel like they spent a lot of time choosing the clothes in the store and then choosing what to wear and how to wear it. And the fashion is, the fashion's tighter. Like the clothes are more form fitting. And in America, it's a lot of baggy or big fashion. I kind of like it in a way. My university students, I think, dress quite nicely. And a lot of American university fashion is sweatpants and sweatshirts, which is very comfortable.
Which I was one of those.
Right. I was too, in my own way. And so I can't really say one is better than the other.
Right.
But I do think that, the Japanese university students look better. Maybe I'm getting older. I don't know.
No. I agree with you too. I think they spend more time and more money to try to make them look nice, so that they can get the girl, or they can get the boys, or they can get the job.
Well, and Asia University has a stereotype of being a very fashionable university.
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay.
yeah. My students are very, very fashionable.
They're funny.
Okay,
And
so
I thought all students were like that. And then I met some other Japanese people, and they're like, no, Asia University is definitely a fashionable university.
well, okay, so if you like Japanese fashion and want to study in Japan, maybe Asia University, you recommend Asia University?
Well,
then?
There you go.
They do have a pretty good exchange program. We have a lot of international students from America and from other countries that come to Asia University. I think it's part of the program where we send a lot of our students to America.
Yeah. So, Joanne, have you ever bought clothing in Japan?
Yes, I have, but it's a little, for me, I can't buy footwear here unless it's men's. But yeah, I've bought some things here for sure.
Tall.
Yeah.
She has big feet.
That's
Yeah.
Well, if I didn't, I would tip over. So there you go. Yeah, I'm definitely. It can be a little difficult to buy clothes here, for sure, for me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, me too.
How tall are you guys?
I'm 5 feet 10 inches, about
you're almost
178 centimeters, 179. Yeah.
I'm 5'9".
Yeah, you guys are tall.
Yeah.
I'm a short guy, typical Japanese looking.
That's
Anyway, okay, so what was your experience buying clothes or staple stuff, like daily life staples? How do you find? Do you find any difficulty finding the staple stuff like?
I think
shampoo.
At first we did, because again we couldn't read.
Yeah.
We can't read the Japanese, so it's like, is this salt or is it sugar?
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
You can't open it and taste in the store. So at the beginning, if we were with a Japanese friend, we'd go to the supermarket and say, "What is this? What is this? What is this?" And with our camera, we'd take pictures, so we could remember things. And then you quickly learn, okay, this is the yogurt that I like. This is the soba noodles that I like. And then slowly with time you learn the staples. And we're getting a little more adventurous when we'll go and buy something. We're not quite sure what it is, but we think we know. But it's still difficult to be adventurous. with the shopping.
Yeah.
Because when you can't read, it's just difficult.
Yeah. We're a little more adventurous, say, with like fruits and vegetables, because that feels less risky.
Yeah.
But there's some seaweed that I know we've not tried because we can't quite identify it. And because our part of the country is not familiar with seafood. And so we have no idea what to do with it.
How to cook it. Do you put it in the miso, or do you sprinkle it on top?
Right, or should I put it under the broiler? What do we do? And then seaweed is something that we've learned recently to really appreciate.
Yeah.
So we're changing our staples, I think, to suit Japan.
Yeah, we don't buy a lot of American food. We buy mostly Japanese staples.
Yeah, and then we tweak it to...
Yeah, I see rice cooker, I see...
soba. Although sometimes
I see Japanese sake, big one on the top of the shelf.
That's the cheap sake. That's the good sake next to the coffee maker. That's some really good sake.
Yeah.
Sometimes we try to mix it up. Like we make soba and then put pesto with the soba.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like a fusion.
Yeah. So we use Japanese ingredients and kind of make it into our own. It's delicious. It's
really good.
Easily one of the best things we've discovered.
Most people say, "Oh, I don't know."
Right.
But when they try it, they're like, "Oh, wow, this is so good."
Yeah.
Oh, sure, it's 1:30 and then my stomach start growling. But after we start talking about it, so any other hard time that you were having, like in terms that you think you can give that advice, like, well, okay, maybe this is too promotional. Which brand of shampoo you guys like?
Oh, actually, our shampoo, we're still using up shampoo that we brought from America. Yeah.
Because again, it's hard to choose.
Okay.
And you don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Like toothpaste and deodorant. It's very sort of a personal choice.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to make that choice.
Of course.
It's easier just to bring it from home.
Okay. Yeah. So you haven't explored yet.
Not too much. Although when you go to the Sento or the Onsen, sometimes they have shampoo and you just use what they have.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, maybe I want to ask you to pick the one that you like the most from Japanese brand or something. I don't know. For the people who like this in the U.S., maybe you like this. Blah blah blah, something like that, so that you don't have to spend extra $20 to ship the stuff from the U.S. You know?
We usually bring it with us when we come.
I know, but
and you probably. I mean, I suspect that because we've used some Japanese toothpaste, and I think it's probably the same in America. You just try some different ones, and then when you find one that you like, and you can find a lot of Western brands here. Like names that you recognize.
Yeah.
And I think they're still quite similar.
Yeah, but still, I know, I've read it. They change it for Japanese hair. They change it for.
Oh, okay.
So they change the ingredients for sure. But this is the important question. How about drugs, medicines? Like, do you ever use the Japanese medicine?
I don't.
I would say no.
Yeah.
Because again, we didn't know what was available, and so when we first came, we brought cold medicine and flu medicine from home. That's in English, because when you're sick, you don't want to worry about reading the instructions. Yeah. You want to just take the medicine.
Right.
And then we had some friends come to visit, and we said, "Oh, could you please bring us some extra?" So also we don't get sick very often, so we still have a lot of the original medicine.
Okay.
So we really haven't had to go buy anything in the supermarket. We've been lucky to not be sick.
Okay.
So I don't know too much about it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
But if I had any questions, I'd probably just ask a Japanese friend to go with me to the pharmacy.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, I was wondering if you already have some medicine that for the stomach, diarrhea and everything that you think you could give the advice, but okay, it's fine.
Luckily, we haven't needed it.
Right.
Okay, good. All right, it's been 1 hour, 20 minutes, so we will start wrapping up today's show. So, what do you think about the Yokoso News?
It seems quite nice. It's been nice
we like it a lot.
Have a conversation.
Cool.
Nice to share our experiences and our ideas.
I'm sure that some people are going to watch this archive. So, if you like our show, I'm sure Rich and Joanne will continue to contribute to Yokoso News whenever they can.
Sure.
But please like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, so that you will get the latest information of Yokoso News in Japan. And Yokoso News is the online website to introduce Japan in English, so that you can understand Japan more. And we do have, in addition to the article, we do have this thing like a live cast, so that you can understand, you can ask the question in real time. Please also encourage your friends and family member to help us promote Yokoso News as well. Anyway, I'm gonna continue. After this, we're gonna go to ramen shop.
Go get some lunch.
Okay, good. So maybe I'll do a live cast. I don't know. There. I mean, from my iPhone, but then I will visit your farm and I can report something more a little bit day after, and then I might do another last minute live cast tomorrow with my other friend in Tokyo. I'm doing the Tokyo tour right now. So if you follow Yokoso News on Twitter or Facebook, sometimes you'll see my journey live casting. Like yesterday, I went to the trolley train in Otsuka. There's a one trolley train.
Really?
Exists in Tokyo.
Oh, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Is it a long line?
Kind of. It's kind of, but it's only like 20-30 minutes long, and you only pay 160 yen.
Oh, we've seen that. Remember when we walked to Luke's?
Oh, down by Waseda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that.
Oh, that looks really cool. Yeah.
From Otsuka Station to Waseda University.
Yeah. Oh,
JR
nice.
Yamanote Line. So I actually did the live cast. I was riding on the train.
Oh, how cool.
Cool.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's from my iPhone. It's crappy image and stuff.
Right.
It's interesting though.
Yeah, so we'll do that kind of stuff for next couple of days, and today and tomorrow, and then that's it. So thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
See you.
Mata ne. See you later.
Okay. Then, shoot.